Welcome to Rome, where your first memory isn't of your mother's warm smile or your childhood home's comforting embrace. It's the metallic taste of a cold slave collar biting into your neck and some fat, wealthy merchant poking your muscles like you're a prized ox at auction. Congratulations, you've just been selected for the Empire's most brutal career path, where the entry-level position means probably going to die horribly, and your retirement plan is a wooden sword, if you're extraordinarily lucky and survive long enough to earn it. That deafening noise you hear? That's 50,000 bloodthirsty Romans enthusiastically deciding whether you live or die today, like a deadly version of those modern talent shows. Except here getting voted off early means exactly what you think it means: permanent elimination. And unlike those comfortable television shows, you can't even choose your audition piece or prepare your performance. The choice has been made for you. Your new home is the ludus, the gladiatorial training school. Think of it as the ancient world's worst boarding school, where the cafeteria only serves beans and barley. The gym coach is literally trying to kill you during practice. And graduation means fighting some lunatic with a fishing net who's way too excited about his deadly job. The good news, you get 3 guaranteed meals a day. The bad news, they're all beans, every single meal. Welcome to the glamorous life of an arena titan, where even the medical care is a decidedly mixed blessing. Sure, you've got access to the best trauma doctors in Rome, but trust me, you're going to desperately need them on a regular basis. Oh, and that sound, that rhythmic banging at dawn, that's your new alarm clock, because in this particular career path, hitting snooze isn't a viable option unless you want to permanently hit the afterlife instead. Rise and shine, Titan. You've got violence to practice. Your first crucial lesson in gladiator school. The only thing worse than dying in the arena is disappointing your lanista, the charming fellow who owns you outright and runs this delightful death factory. See, at least in the arena, death is relatively quick and merciful. Disappointing your lanista? That punishment extends indefinitely. But hey, look on the bright side. You're about to become famous. Sure, it's primarily because thousands of people are actively betting substantial money on whether you'll survive your next scheduled fight. But in a world without Instagram or social media, you take whatever fame you can get. And who knows? Maybe you'll become the next Spartacus, the legendary rebel who nearly brought Rome to its knees. Just maybe don't mention that particular name around the guards. They're still remarkably sensitive about the whole massive slave rebellion thing. Tends to make them stabby. Welcome to the ludus, your new home. Sorry, hellhole. First order of business, taking the gladiator's oath, which basically goes, I solemnly swear to be burned, chained, beaten, and killed by the sword. Not exactly the Hogwarts sorting ceremony, is it? And unlike other educational institutions, dropping out of this school involves a lot more actual dropping, usually from fatal sword wounds or blood loss. Your daily routine as an arena titan starts at the crack of dawn, where you and your fellow doomed students practice repeatedly hitting wooden posts until your arms feel like overcooked pasta and your shoulders scream for mercy. The trainer calling him a teacher would be far too generous. Helpfully demonstrates proper sword technique by occasionally trying to actually kill you during demonstrations. Think of it as a surprise pop quiz, where failing means, well, actually failing to pop up ever again. Permanently horizontal. Remember those 3 meals a day I mentioned earlier? Here's your gourmet menu. Morning brings beans and barley. Noon delivers barley and beans. And evening provides a surprise. More beans with slightly different barley. They say this diet builds impressive muscle mass. Really, it just builds an impressive amount of intestinal gas in the cramped barracks. Nothing says fearsome warrior quite like crop dusting your way through morning training sessions. Now for the exciting part, choosing your fighting style. Except you don't actually choose anything. Your lanista does, based entirely on your body type, natural abilities, and his current entertainment preferences. Maybe you'll become a murmillo, wearing a helmet that makes your head look like a fish, very intimidating to opponents, supposedly. Or perhaps a retiarius, the controversial guy with the net and trident, who basically performs deadly fishing on human targets. There's also the thraex, who fights with a tiny shield and wickedly curved sword, because apparently regular sword fighting isn't challenging or deadly enough. Each fighting style comes with its own special creative way of getting horribly injured. The murmillo's massive helmet might protect your head admirably, but it also means you can't see that mace coming for your unprotected kneecaps. The retiarius gets the dubious joy of fighting practically naked. Hope you didn't skip leg day during training. And the thraex? That curved sword is excellent for getting around shields, but try blocking a straight thrust with it. Spoiler alert, you can't, and the result is messy. At least the medical care is absolutely top-notch. The bone setter knows you by name and personal injury history. The wound stitcher saves his favorite cat gut specifically for you. And the herb specialist has his special infection-preventing poultice ready just for your recurring injuries. It's like having a personal healthcare plan, except you have to get repeatedly stabbed to use it. The copay is blood. Remember your first day of school as a child. This inaugural arena experience is infinitely worse. The massive arena gates creak open, and suddenly you're squinting into blinding sunlight like a mole who took a catastrophically wrong turn. Except this mole is wearing 30 pounds of armor and carrying a sword that feels suspiciously heavier than the wooden training weapon you practice with. Fun fact, that's actual fear, adding the extra weight, making everything heavier. The crowd has already picked their favorite competitor, and spoiler alert, it's probably not you, newbie. They've got this sophisticated voting system for whether you live or die. Thumbs up means you live to fight another day. Thumbs down means, well, let's just say you won't need to worry about tomorrow's bean ration or anything else ever again. It's like ancient social media, but instead of getting cancelled online, you get cancelled permanently and messily. Your first opponent is probably another rookie. The lanistas aren't complete idiots after all. They've invested considerable money in your training and feeding to throw you straight to the lions. Although sometimes they do exactly that, because apparently regular sword fighting isn't sufficiently entertaining for jaded Roman audiences. Nothing adds excitement to your day quite like a hungry tiger, using your shield as a chew toy, while you desperately try to remember if the trainer covered tiger defense in your abbreviated training. Different matches require vastly different survival strategies. Fighting a retiarius, watch out obsessively for that weighted net. It's not just for decorative show, and getting tangled makes you look like a fish flopping pathetically around at the market. Facing a thraex, keep your distance religiously. That curved sword can hook around your shield and ruin your whole day in life. And if you're matched up against a murmillo, just remember that fishbowl helmet severely limits their peripheral vision. Too bad they compensate for this disadvantage by hitting like an angry armored rhinoceros. The reality of arena injuries. They hurt tremendously, and they're creative in their variety too. You haven't truly lived until you've had the medicus pop your dislocated shoulder back into its socket, while simultaneously giving you a stern lecture about proper shield positioning technique. If you just kept your guard up properly, he says while jamming infection-preventing herbs into your bleeding wound, I wouldn't have to keep stitching you up like your mother's favorite tunic. But here's the real trick to long-term survival as an arena titan: entertainment value. The crowd doesn't just want blood and death, they want a memorable show, a performance. Make them laugh with clever moves, give them drama and suspense, become their favorite personality, and you might just survive even if you technically lose the match. Think of it as Rome's Got Talent, where the grand prize is staying alive, and the consolation prize is, well, let's keep things positive. At least the beans in the afterlife probably can't be worse than the ones in the ludus. Congratulations, you've survived long enough through skill, luck, and crowd pleasing to become genuinely famous. Your scarred face is painted on expensive clay pots. Children play with little wooden action figures modeled after you. Rich women swoon dramatically when you walk by during public appearances. You're basically a Roman rock star, except you still sleep in a locked cell and your manager owns you. Literally, legally, completely. The really weird part, people collect your sweat. No, seriously, they scrape it off your body with these little curved sticks called strigils and bottle it to sell as expensive souvenirs or supposed love potions. Nothing says I'm a celebrity quite like strangers enthusiastically bottling your body fluids for profit. Take that, modern influencers, with your mere sponsored posts and product placements. Back at the ludus, you've got your gladiator family. Emphasis on got, because you don't exactly have a choice in roommates. There's old Marcus, who won't shut up about his glory days 20 years ago. Young Brutus, who's definitely not living up to his intimidating name. Seriously, the kid apologizes profusely to training dummies after hitting them. And that weird guy who talks to his sword like it's a trusted friend. But they're your brothers in arms, literally, because you might have to fight them tomorrow if the games demand it. Then there's the groupies. Noble women send you passionate love notes which would be genuinely flattering if you could actually read. They show up at training sessions to watch you exercise, fan themselves dramatically, and somehow pretend the overwhelming smell of sweaty gladiators and beans is arousing. Pro tip, never mention the beans when they're around. Really kills the mysterious warrior vibe you're cultivating. Politics in the arena is its own special, dangerous game. The emperor is watching from his luxury box. Wealthy patrons are constantly plotting and scheming. Somehow your life becomes a betting chip in their elaborate power plays. One day you're fighting your heart out for survival. The next you're told to lose dramatically because some influential senator bet heavily against you. At least make it look convincing, they tell you. You're not just fighting for your life anymore. You're performing for your dinner. And yes, dinner is still beans. The sacred wooden sword, the rudis, represents your ticket to freedom. It looks like a simple practice weapon, which is Rome's way of having one final laugh at your expense. But hey, it beats the alternative accessory, the coffin. There are 3 main ways to earn one: survive long enough through sheer endurance, win enough spectacular fights, or make the crowd love you enough that freeing you becomes politically advantageous. Simple, right? Just like avoiding death is simple. Some titans actually achieved it. Flamma fought so magnificently that Emperor Nero gave him palaces and treated him like a beloved son. Though given what happened to Nero's actual family members, maybe that wasn't the best deal. Then there's Marcus Attilius, who started as a free man, went catastrophically broke, became a gladiator out of desperation, and won enough spectacular fights to earn his freedom again. Talk about a dramatic career change. But for every inspiring success story, there's a dozen tragic failures. Remember that legendary guy who won 99 consecutive fights but lost his 100th? Neither does anyone else. That's the brutal thing about arena fame. It's wonderful until it suddenly isn't. One bad day, one slow dodge, one missed block, and suddenly you're that cautionary tale the trainers tell terrified rookies. Here's the thing about being an arena titan that nobody tells you during recruitment. It teaches you something profound about what genuinely matters in life. Not the fame or the clay pots with your face on them. Not even the swooning noble women or the wealth. What matters is how you face each day, each fight, each moment when those massive gates creak open and your mortality stares back at you. Because in the end, true freedom isn't just about getting that symbolic wooden sword. It's about finding the courage to keep standing up when life repeatedly knocks you down. It's about maintaining your humanity when the world treats you like a commodity to be bought, sold, and discarded. Maybe that's why some of us choose to keep fighting even after earning our freedom. Not for the roar of the crowd or the thrill of victory, but because we've learned something that comfortable citizens never will, that sometimes the greatest triumph isn't in winning the fight, but in choosing which battles are worth fighting for. Though let's be honest, choosing better meals than beans is definitely still high on the priority list.